So like, you're actually the first preacher I'm actually having on my stream.
I appreciate it, my guy.
Yeah.
When you asked me, I just said yes because I like you.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. My daughter was like, I said, I'm going to do something with my guy. She's like, Dad, you got to get the language. It's in the chat.
It's in the chat,
I don't know nothing about it. I said, but this is a good guy.
Yeah.
And here's what I did. I always told myself the greatest reward to who you are is for someone to like you. And you never switch up or cross someone who likes you.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I don't wait till everybody in the world knows. Like, yo, when you put me on your joint so I can say something.
That's how it's
and that's how it be. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So my thing is, I know how I felt, and I still see myself still crawling to whatever. I don't know what the top is, but whatever the illusion of the top is, I'm crawling somewhere.
Right.
But I don't want to ever be that guy. Like, nah, man. I reached out to my uncle. He always say he coming through. He gonna come through, and it's just like that. Because I believe that there is a reach that the church is limited to.
Yes.
I believe this is one of the avenues that causes people to have a different perspective of church. Because transparent conversation is very therapeutic.
For sure.
It makes me say, okay, all right, well, let me try this. And it's your ministry. And so I'm going to protect it.
That's cool. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Right?
Okay.
And so we was looking at some of the stuff. I just want to know what was going on through your mind when you was doing some of this stuff. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's start with this, right? Let's start with this. This Brian Martin chord. Wait here. What was this about? We're trying to get pregnant. Like what?
So the exhortation is the exhortation is the baby when Elizabeth and Mary comes, that narrative, and she comes in the room and the baby leaps in her.
Okay.
And I made the exhortation that wherever there is praise and worship appropriately is compatible to a woman receiving the seed for a miracle.
Okay.
And so the chopped and paste came out. You're trying to get pregnant.
Okay.
Okay. You know what I'm saying? But there was a spiritual narrative attached to that beginning part.
Okay.
But as you know, most people do that. Most people just chop me up and then they put out the part that's funny.
Right.
And don't get the whole spill. But that was
if you have intentions on dancing, you better dance when we dance. So we don't have no private dancers in here today.
All right, so listen to me.
Yo,
now I'm gonna tell you. Let me tell you this.
All right, tell me.
I have yet to learn how to filter my thoughts to my mouth.
Okay.
So everything that comes across my mind, because I try to be a straight shooter, I'm gonna say it. So I don't have ain't no gray. Like I ain't gonna. If you ugly, I'm say you ugly. If you breath stink. But in ministry, sometimes it comes across like I just said something crazy, and so I said, we're not gonna have no private dance today,
right? None.
And that they ran with that as well.
Yo, we say that though. We don't say the private dances, but like we call it popcorn. Me and my brother call it popcorn dancing. When it's like you like to shout when the music's done, the track's low, everybody's trying to move on.
And then you want to shout.
Yes, like
get with the flow.
Stop. Get in with everybody.
And that's what I believe is performance. I believe it's performance when you can't have a corporate breakthrough with the entirety of the congregation. And we got to come all the way down, and you find it. It's the praise break.
Yeah, it's like
I was like, we're not doing that. We're not going to waste. And that was a funeral. That was a funeral I said that at. I don't know. It was about a year ago, and I said that because what happens at funerals, we have these epiphanies of praise, and before you know, we wasted. I don't want to say waste, but we've gone through 3 hours of these private breakthroughs. We can start doing it together and get out. The people that know me know that if I'm not anointed to do anything, I'm anointed to make you laugh. I spent a lot of my early days in life crying, trying to figure out who I was. I'm adopted. I didn't know my biological parents. I was alone a lot. And so I mastered laughing and being in spaces that made me laugh and making people laugh. And that was a real weird way to cover up some of my pain and my tears. I just believe that the strategic seed of laughter can be planted in any situation and change the whole dynamic.
I agree.
Now, if you're an offended person, you're not going to agree with that.
So how do you deal with offended people? Because it's a lot of people who are just so easily offended by everything. And I personally have my ways of dealing with it, but what is your way?
Once you give me what I call unreasonable offense, then I know how to kind of handle you.
Okay.
You have a right to be offended because I don't know what you dealt with today. I could just, and me and you have established a rapport just because we joke all the time. There could be a day you had a bad day, like, yo, I don't feel like that right now.
Right.
So I think if offense can be explained, then I'm going to take the humble rule and say, my bad, boy, I ain't know, I'm sorry. But some people just want to be offended.
Right.
Because offense gives them the attraction that sobriety doesn't.
Okay.
So offense can make people want to know about you, hear about you, and oh my God, what happened? But I don't live in offense. I'm not easily offended. You can't be me and be easily offended because, and I don't get intoxicated by cheers, and I don't lose my mind by booze.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's just whatever. The people who I love me, and I love them, and we keep it moving. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm not easily offended.
Okay. Nah, I get that. I like that. I'm not either. I feel like it's too much.
Right.
It's too much. Yo, is this really how you shout, or is this like you just having fun?
No, I've always praised God with whatever came to my mind. I have never in my life did anything to draft attention.
For real?
No, I'm not.
Oh, we got it. Let's sit with this a little bit. Let's really talk about this. For real.
So I think the problem I got is people like, yo, he's trying to be seen. I never had to try to be anything. If people knew me from where I started and where I am, I've always been a radical praiser, spontaneous in my worship, and whatever I thought about doing, I did. The problem was I didn't know the people on the sideline were becoming tickled by it and assuming it was something that it wasn't supposed to be.
Right.
And so I was like, well, now I was younger, a little lighter, so I would do whatever.
Right.
I've jumped off of balconies and preaching.
For real.
I've jumped up in the air and landed on a split before. I've done all that. It don't matter to me, man. I'm gonna praise. I just been praising. When I started assuming that it was becoming mockery, I was like, you know what? Let me chill.
Okay.
Because now you're playing with me, and I don't want to be the circus part of the church. I don't want to be that because I believe I have content. And context is really effective. And sometimes people cannot be able to hear what's in you based upon what they see you do. This is the big one everybody wants to talk about.
This is the one. How you come to a sanctified man funeral and be more pressed about your robe than your praise? You niggas.
Yo! What? What happened?
Let me tell you what happened. The old narrative that's been said.
Let me put you on the screen. Okay. Let me get you right here. Okay. All right. What happened?
The old narrative that's said is how you talk. If you're not careful, even in your private conversations, will eventually come out on public platforms.
Okay.
And so, like my adjutant who's here with me now, he knows that I am very urban. Like, dude, get my robe. Let's go. I got time for it. I really thought I had pulled the mic away from my mouth.
See, this is what they don't see. This is what they don't see.
And let me just be quite honest with you. That was the apex of embarrassment. First of all, because first of all, it stained the moment for Bishop Derek Glover's funeral because that was a viral moment that overcast his homegoing. And so it's like, yo, I can't. Now, mind you, I didn't know what was going on. I left the funeral. We went. A couple of the saints were with me. We went and got some cheesesteaks from the store. We got in the house. When I woke up in the morning, it was like a tsunami. Yo, everybody was calling me like, "Oh, you said, nigga, you said this," and I was so embarrassed. Now, there were some church bloggers, very famous church bloggers, who really wanted to run with it.
Okay.
And the reason why the story lost its wings was because I admitted that it was embarrassing, it was distasteful, and I was very humiliated I would do such a thing. And the one blogger simply said, "Oh, we don't have a story then," because we were told you would be like, "Yeah, I said it again." I'm like, no, I'm not that. And it kind of died out. Now, the flip side of that is there were some churches who canceled me.
For real.
And that's the backstory. For everybody who's always like, yo, Uncle Brian be saying it. There were some churches that say, you know what? I just thought that was just so inappropriate. We're going to hold off on you right now. You talking about, I've been preaching around the world for 15 years.
Like, oh my God.
I'm doing it. And so what you say and what you do can mess with your opportunities, ultimately your economy.
Yeah.
And so it was very embarrassing. And now I do mean don't let your robe snatch the idea of your praise.
Right. And I agree with that. Because there are people who come in a robe and they all sedity and all, you know. And it's like they don't want to shout. It's like,
you're sitting there looking like that. Yeah. You got on this $1,000 robe and you got 2 members. Like, we're going to
come on, stop.
And
that's really how we all got to get in there. Right. No, that's okay. What are some things that you've learned preaching all over, from white churches to black churches? You preach at both, right?
I preach at both. Right.
So what have you learned, and what advice could you give me? Because I know that my type of ministry, or the type of way I do preach, can go both ways. Yeah. So, what would you say to me?
It may seem corny, but I'm at the place now where I have become reintroduced to the necessity to position yourself in prayer before you do your presentation, because every space may not require all that you bring to the table.
Okay.
And I think you and I both can be so gifted until we lose the anxiety of preaching or ministering. And whenever the loss of anxiety is there, what you're saying is you're leaning totally on your own gift. And whenever you're that gifted that you don't need to seek God, you will make a shipwreck. So gifted people need to be given to diplomacy, sensitivity, and knowing that the ultimate goal is not for people to go crazy off of what I do and say. It's for someone to be impacted and drawn to Christ. So for me, at this stage of my life, I'm extremely given to, okay, just because I did that last week at that conference, this conference may not require that. Right. Because what's happening now is much of what we're seeing people do is nothing more but a skit. It's like a set. You sing one song. If you go to any concert that you like and your favorite group is there, you can almost tell what songs are coming next. And, now when you go to hear a preacher preach, you can just about tell what's going to be next. Right. It's no longer ministry. It's your performance. It's your skit. It's your
wow, I gotta the thing on that one, man.
Wow. If you know, he can ready to here it come. He's every time he's ready to preach, all he tells his neighbor this and all that. It's routine, and where there is routine, you remove God. God is not telling us to rehearse with our organists. God is not telling us, when you hear me say this, you got to do that. And that's those are all manipulative devices that gifted people know how to do to control the emotions of the unlearned.
Interesting. Wow.
And so you can be so gifted until it's no longer a task. I don't want this second half of my life in ministry to be anything that would look like I'm out here, finagling people with foolishness. So So that's what my encouragement, or my little small piece of whatever to you is like, ask God, what do you want me to do? How you want me to do it? I had this thing that I used to do all the time. I haven't done it in a while. It was my stamp. My organist knew it. If there was anything we did, I was going to say it. I was going to say, look at your neighbor, and if your neighbor doesn't scream or holler when you say this to him.
I said, we gotta watch it. That's crazy. Am I taking this from you? Are you saying I got this from you? That's what he's trying to say.
I want you to go with me. I want you to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor this, right? And if they don't respond the way that they're supposed to respond, you have permission from me to move your seat, okay? All right. I want you to look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor this. Say, neighbor. Oh, I want y'all to be a little bit louder than that. Say, neighbor, God is in the room. See,
it's called the ministry exhortation.
It's exhortation.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
The problem is, mine was, if your neighbor don't scream or holler when you say this to them, don't speak to them again another day in your life.
I like that. It works.
Yeah, it works.
It works.
But I went into a space, and the word was, tell your neighbor the devil is a liar. And then when I would come, the devil is a liar. And my audience would be all there. We'd be everywhere worked until I went to a Caucasian church. And not a soul said the devil was a liar. And I had to turn the corner. And I turned the corner into a cultural dynamic. And that's what made them laugh. And I said, tell you that the devil's a liar. And you can hear him. What's he saying? I said, I forgot I'm in a white church today. Turn with me. So, and they laughed at that. But brother, God. Then that let me know that there is a cultural legislation to all of our sermons.
Yes, it is.
What works in Mexican, Caucasian, Black, African. Most African churches are prophetic churches, so they like to hear prophecy, word, and word of faith churches like to hear things that connect them to provision, that they measure their life's reward for capitalism.
Right.
Most Black Pentecostal churches, we kind of know how that works. So that's what I'm saying. Every space requires a sensitivity, and I got better in my ministry when I knew that I'm not supposed to be the same Bryant Martin every time I go in every space. So that works. That's a wonderful ministry exhortation. It is a transporter, if you would, to getting you to your sermon. But just because it worked there, you can't take it for granted it's going to work when you come to my church and do it.
Right.
Or you go to somebody else's church and do it. Or you come to somebody else's church and do it. So we have to be sensitive to it. Because atmosphere teaches you what's going to be appropriate. Right. You can basically say, okay, I see where I need to be at. I'm an advocate for being yourself. Don't lose yourself in this cookie cutter mentality. But within being yourself, be yourself to the degree where you know that how much of me should be offered in this presentation. Traditional Pentecost, I want to close, so I'm gonna I'm gonna tune up, and I'm gonna do that. But in this hour, some of that even can be too much for this.
I've learned that.
You feel me? Yeah, it's not always required.
Yeah, I personally, right? I'll tell you this. I personally, I don't even tune up. Okay. Like, well, I'll do everything in the beginning. Like, if we keep watching, you'll see. Like, I'll do other stuff. Okay. But like everything for me is in the beginning. Okay. So when I do all the exhortation, I do all the stuff, and I'm going to do something with the organ, the keys, but I'll do it first. Okay. And then you come down from that. Because I teach. And teach a lesson. So I teach it. Okay. I come down. I teach it. If I reverse it. Okay. Yeah, I always open up with that. Okay. And then my closing is always prayer, because I know God going to take me into a certain realm every time. It has never failed. I got right? Now, of course, I'm not going to say God just can't. No. But that's what you like. Yeah, so it's part of my ministry. And so what I'll do is, after I'm done, we pray. The whole church will gather hands and pray, and we just go. Okay. And that just turns into the altar call. Whatever God will just let me to go do whatever. I got you. And it flows that way. But I've never, like, my brother, he'll close. Oh my God, he's ridiculous. Yeah. But I don't close. Okay. Like, I don't do it. But I learned that the young people, the people that I reach a lot of times, all of that is not the best for them. Right. So what I do is I grab them in the beginning, the older saints, I catch them real quick. Let's do this for them, y'all. Let's have some church real quick. We're gonna shout too. I let them dance. Yeah. But, absolutely, you definitely do that. Yeah. But for them, it's teaching. I got you. It works. Why work outside of the grace that God has given? Yeah. Because there's an audience for your grace, and I think if every preacher would get that, we would feel better in collaborating with each other, being uniquely brought together as the body. Right. Every God-given grace has a God-given audience. Yeah. And we ain't got to beef and fight. No, we don't. So let's just figure it out. Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, I like that.
We had some technical difficulties with everything.
Yeah, you got a lot going on.
Yeah. Normally everything's set. I never have any problems with my stream. Right. The camera died. Okay. So with the camera dying, I had to put the backup camera on. That's the cheap webcam. So I really like that one. I never use it. It's only for backup. So are you like geeky, nerdy, like to know it? No, I'm just getting into this because of my content. So they saying it's clear now. Yeah, it's good now. Cool, with my stuff, my brother actually got me this because I do so many skits. Like, I went viral a lot. I've been doing. I saw it. Yeah, I didn't know nothing of what you was doing until. Let me check and see what I saw. You doing some stuff? Yeah. So I've been doing a lot of. I'm glad to be a part of it, man. I'm gonna tell you something, buddy. I rock with your father. I think your father's a genius. I used to call your dad like my probation officer because I could talk about anything. Okay. And he's always been like just regular. And I mean, you're a son, so you might know something different, but I don't want to know anything else. He's always been like this. And I love how you guys collaborate in ministry. I love it. It's just like, you're not trying to be your dad, but you have an enormous amount of honor for your father. Yeah. It's very refreshing, and I think it's solid. So I'm really glad to be here. Yeah. Because if I didn't, I would not have been here. I believe it. Yeah, I believe you wouldn't care. I believe nah. When they answered the phone, I'm not doing that. When I was first coming up, I didn't like that he was a pastor. Okay. I didn't like it. I didn't want him to be a pastor at all. I'm like, this is corny. I want to do what I want to do. And then I got saved. So and after that, I was just like, I started watching him.
Yeah.
I would question a lot, and then I started being like getting active in ministry.
Yeah.
And now more than ever, I see exactly what he's talking about. Like,
I got you.
I get it. Like, and then people got so much to say. Yeah. They don't want to do nothing. They don't show. They don't do. It's all this stuff. I'm like, bro, y'all. It'd be the main ones. Yeah. He'll say it.
They'll say it right.
I'm like, yo, y'all the main. Y'all don't do nothing.
My biggest critics in my ministry right now come from people who do nothing.
Do absolutely nothing.
And they have all of the problems with no solutions. The biggest ability is availability. Yes. So if you were just ready to get in the game, I could throw you in.
Exactly.
But you ain't even on the bench. Your shoes not tied. You ain't got your tape. So you don't have a right to critique us.
Yeah. I could tell, like, I don't know how many times I can count the ideas I've gotten. And then I would say, all right, go do it. And they don't want to do it. Right. And then we do it. Oh, it should have been this way. Yeah. Come on, this is church.
So the problem is they have a problem with you're not lamenting and bending over backwards to accommodate their inadequacy. Because they really want to do it, but they want to be begged.
Right.
And we're not begging this season. No, we're not begging nobody.
Nothing. No, I'm sorry, I'm not.
No, we're not begging nobody.
No. I don't have the time. I don't have the energy. I don't think I really even had the patience. I'm going to be honest. Like, I tell my dad all the time, I don't know if pastoring is for me. Right. I don't know if it's going to be my thing. I think I'm a good second chair. I will probably be the best second chair ever. Right. But second chair. I got it. It wouldn't be because it's the stuff he got it. I'm not answering phones. Right. I'm not sugarcoating certain stuff. Right. I'm sitting people down. It is what it is. Right. I get him though. Right. I do get it. And I know and I'm aware that there is a perspective I will never understand because I'm not in their seat. You know what I mean? So I let him lead, but he does well. He's a good guy. He's a good man. Yeah, I really love him. He does well. Solid. I want to know this, right? What would you be doing? What would you, if it wasn't pastoring, if it wasn't being a bishop, if it wasn't church, what would you be trying to do?
I'll be in jail or dead.
For real.
God, the Lord saved me. And that's why I'm an advocate for giving young people the space to hear God and allowing them to hear God in a very controversial environment, because the voice of God can penetrate the speakers at a club, the bullets of a gunshot, the smoke of weed. The voice of God can come. I was attracted to the forbidden. I come from a 2-parent household. I have no brothers and sisters. I was blessed, spoiled. It would be the least of what it is. I'm a blessed man. But I was always attracted to urban community. My aunts and my cousins grew up in the hood, and my mom would drop me off over there, and I was raised in the city, and I was just around different things and different conversations. The majority of my friends don't know their father, but I knew my father. My biological father I don't know, but my adopted father I know, who raised me and gave me everything. But I started treating him different and started seeing things from the perspective of the environment I was around. Right. And I wanted to sell drugs. I wanted to be outside. And for a season, the Lord granted me that. And that's the paradox to purpose. When God grants you the dysfunction just to bring you back into his function, which means his will. So I was outside and God saved me.
What brought you back? Like, what was the situation that was like, all right, I got to come back?
I got shot up.
For real?
Over this girl, yeah. A girl named Dea. That's all I say, Dea. And
wait, shit, like physically, like with a gun?
They bust on my car. Pop, pop,
oh my
pop. God. I ran. I'm like, oh my God, they shit. Oh, this Bryant. Her ex-boyfriend. Now this, you ready? This is all documented.
Yeah.
Her ex-boyfriend had his eye on me. I was at the Cheesecake Factory in downtown Baltimore. It just kind of opened up. And he followed me. And he followed me when I left. I had a Chevy Blazer. This was like 94. I had a 92 Chevy Blazer. I was killing the game. And he followed me. And when I got away from downtown, they just cranked. Pop, 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 pop out. And I was so scared. I thought I was a gangster. I thought I was, ready for all that. And I drove right to the police station. I'm like, you're going to kill me. They're going to kill me right in front of the police.
Right, we're right.
And then that next week, I went to my grandmother's church, the church where I'm at right now. I went to that church, and the Lord began to deal with me about his love for me, his desire for me. I didn't really understand it because my grandmother had a very limited perspective of Jesus. It was the wages of sin and death, give God your life. Right. You die and go to hell. You shout now.
come to Bible class. No real theological depth, but she did the best she could for what she was given. She laid a really huge seed in my life. Okay. And that's what happened. And that's when I began to hear God tell me I had something on my life. And I'm not going to lie and say I became perfect after that event, but it was when I was becoming available to hear God. Okay. And to say, okay, whatever this means, I'm available to it. And so I started becoming attracted to church and attracted to different preachers outside of my grandmother's legislation. So I was hearing some of the greatest preachers in the world.
Like who?
At that time, the greatest preacher in the world for me was probably 3 guys that made me say, wow, that I could really touch. That was Todd Hall, Prophet Todd Hall. He Bishop Liston Page Jr.
Yep, he's in my top 3.
Oh, yeah. He and what he's doing now, to me, doesn't even compare to the foundational theological, he just made me rethink everything I had learned. And he's always been a great guy. And a guy in Baltimore, 2 other guys not sure guys, but senior fathers in Baltimore. Bishop Robert Evans, he's gone on to be with the Lord. And Bishop Ralph Dennis. Okay. These were senior voices that just made me say, wow, I got to add Bishop James Spence too. Okay. So there's a couple guys that made me say, wait a minute, this is incredible. Okay. About preaching, this is not just getting up to say, clap hands, say yes. This is real establishing some cognitive understanding about what the word of the Lord is saying. So that's made me attracted to learning and discipleship through study. And then I just start building. It's not too many preachers I can say I don't like. I don't like when you are trying to do what you think I would like. Right. Don't come up here and try to perform a circus and we're going to clap for it. But
all right, so let me ask you this, right? Yeah. And if you don't want to answer it, it's fine, right? But you name me like, basically, that was like 5. Like 5 top 5 preachers. Right. So name me your top worst preachers you've ever heard in your life.
Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. No. You're nuts. This guy's crazy. I'm playing crazy. Bishop. But this is what I'm saying. The worst preachers in the world are preachers, in my opinion, who are still unclear of their assignment. Ooh, because you cannot be the worst if you know your assignment. Right. That if you're telling me you're a teacher, and that means that when I sit under the grace on your life, I'm going to feel something that registers in my spirit that says, I just got to work from the Lord. Right. I think we become intoxicated by what we see to be popular and try to fit those boxes. And that might not be the way you should go. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. I also don't believe God has given everything to one preacher. Nope. Or what would the purpose for us to be? Right. We're fitly joined together. So I think worst or bad preachers are preachers who just don't know what they're supposed to do. They change their style every other week. And I'm not against pivoting. I think all of us should pivot. But you have no identity. Right. That if you when you come to hear me preach, you're gonna say, I know what I'm gonna do. I didn't know he's gonna do that, but I know his vein and I need that what's on his life. And I think that's what makes you work. But there's some bums out here preaching.
No, it is.
Yeah, they stink. They stink real bad.
Yeah, I'm not going to name no names. Yeah, I heard a couple. I'm like, this is not. Yeah. I tell my dad all the time. And the crazy thing about him, right? It's like he's hard on me, like on me, my brother Brandon, my mom. They can preach. Oh my God. Right. But like, it'll be preachers that come, and I'm like, if I would have preached that, you wouldn't have, you'd have had a conversation with me in the car. But I see you, amen, yes, and I'm like, come on,
But there's a different, there's a different government for your child. Yeah, so I want something different for you. You know what I mean? So that's not those guys. Not his legacy. You're his legacy. Right. So the rebuke is different for you. Yeah. Because years from now, when he's no longer here, he'll be here because of you. Yeah. So that's the connection.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. I understand that. But okay, now they were saying, what part of Baltimore are you from?
I'm from East Baltimore, nigga. East side. Nah, I'm really from East Baltimore. Yeah. My church is where I was raised across the street from my church. And I hear people say, yeah, I'm from South Philly. I'm from West Baltimore. I don't care where you from. Right. If you a sucker, you a sucker.
I say that all the time.
I don't care where you from.
I'm not worried about that.
I'm not scared of you because you tell me I'm from Chicago. I'm going to beat you up in the cold. I don't care. Exactly. So I'm from East Baltimore. And
that culture of East Baltimore kind of mentored me and trained me. But I want to make clear, I'm no killer.
Right.
I'm no gangster. I'm just not no sucker. Like
right.
you're not. Because you know, some of the narratives we in church we can be played with. I love God and I'm saved and I'm working out my soul salvation, but please don't make me binge your stupid tape in this room.
And I fought in high school. I can tell you, I fought in high school because of that one time. Some dude throwing stuff at the lunch table. I come down there. They know me. They known me for preaching in my school. Like, they know. They come down there. I'm like, yo, stop throwing stuff at the table. He's like, sit. This is what he says. Sit your church boy A down.
See, that's what we never said. Yeah. I gotta fight you.
But like, come on.
Yeah, I can't come back to school no more.
Like, I know it. I'm like, bro, I don't want to do this. But it's like, I'm like, what you want, Rumble? He's like, yeah, we can do that. We go outside. Yeah. Of course, I do it to him. But it's like, I felt like I didn't have to do that. Like, but part of me felt like I did.
But you're a man. And I think
on.
that's the narrative. The church has just created so many myths. And one of the myths is that anybody can be pushed over because we're saved, sanctified, and anointed. I am not looking for trouble. No. But God knows I'm not going to run from it.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah. I feel that.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
You got a lot of expensive tennis shoes. You know I'm beating that, right?
Yeah. Which ones you like?
I have everything over there.
You do? The Bottegas, the LVs,
I got the Bottegas, I got
Balenciaga, the Vapes. Yeah. I'm sure though.
The Balenciagas hurt my feet.
I don't like these.
Yeah.
I don't like these. These I don't really like
it. Hurt my feet.
I wear them just because.
Yeah. So you're not just a sneakerhead. You're an expensive sneakerhead.
I used to be. Okay. I'll tell you this. So when
there's a lot of money. It's like the church mortgage right there.
No. He said the church mortgage. No, I'll tell you. I used to when I first started getting money, started working, I was still in college. Okay. So I was doing online because I was in nursing initially, but I didn't like nursing. So I wanted education. I just didn't want to be broke. Right. So I was doing the education thing. I was working as like an aide in high school, and I didn't have to pay any rent because I was still in school.
Sure, I got you.
So I was getting all my checks was me. Yeah, you know what I mean? So I was running it up like
no kids.
Yeah, no, heck no kids.
Live,
no nothing.
Buy more kids.
I was going crazy. So I'm like, I'm gonna get everything I wanted as a kid. So I was getting everything.
I love it, bro.
But I started learning money. Yeah, talking to a couple people who get some real money. Yeah, and they was telling me, no, you gotta chill.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so this is a lot of this old stuff.
Yeah, I like it, man.
I mean, that's recent. Okay, but I wear these every day.
Your clothes, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and it's funny, you get the stuff you want, then when you get, you're like, oh my God.
Right, exactly. Wow. Like, I don't even need it.
And that needs to be taught. Mm-hmm. Just as much as prophetic understanding, doctrinal strength. Mm-hmm. We need to teach the generation to come that shouting and dancing is wonderful. Mm-hmm. But what do you have?
What do you have?
What do you have? Yeah. What have you done to bring fruit to your life? Mm-hmm. And if everything is on your back and nothing is in the bank, you're gonna betray your own future.
Yeah, it's true. Leave the church. It's like we talked about that too. Like with identity being in church, like we always ask, like, who are you outside the church? Right. Like I never wanted the church to be my identity.
No, you know, I got you, bro.
And that's why I do a lot of this. Like I do this, the skits. You know, I'm just me. Like I'm not even really into the titles. I know you need them. I guess there's room for them. I wouldn't say need necessarily. I see the requirement for them to some degree, but I just feel like do it. God called you to do it, go do it.
I'm proud of you, man.
Like that's how I feel. Like I've been preaching for a while. It's like I don't. They be like, when you becoming a minister, I don't really care about all that. And I see ministers who I personally don't feel like they need to be ministers. And it's like
the office is for function, not to just gloat in the title.
Yeah.
And once you understand that, I don't necessarily know if I would have it even go to another title. Would I let somebody call me anything else? Mm-hmm. Because the work is too great for me to get lost into that. Yeah. You know, so I'm comfortable where I am. Yeah. And the work is too great. Getting people to be unified is the hardest challenge of pastoring. Yeah. So if you're a bishop, elder, pastor, overseer, it doesn't matter. The work is still the same. So.
Yeah, that's how I feel. Yeah. I get it. I get some of the stuff. It's all right.
But typically people who kind of bathe in that glory really have no relevance outside of church.
That's what it is. They don't have no establishment in the secular world. They don't do nothing.
Secular spaces don't give you no regard, so you have to come to church and perform. And
exactly. That's what it is. I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. I'll be like, it's just church for you. Like I'll sit and talk to them. I'm like, this is just, it's really church.
It's not a relationship with God. It's just church.
It's just church.
After church, you have nothing.
You go home.
And you go home.
And sit. Until
next service. Yeah. I can't wait for another one. Yeah.
There we go. There's something else that I saw of you. All right. I feel like we need to touch on this. Let me see.
Okay.
This was the best thing you've done. This was hilarious.
Now the other thing, I did. I thought of it.
Okay.
That I'm gonna take from you. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
Take me through that.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. My daughter's, how old are you?
I'm 24.
Yeah, so my daughter's just going to turn 26.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter's very gifted, very talented, very smart,
mm-hmm.
but she loves hood culture.
Okay.
And
Sexy Red.
Yeah, all that. So when I get in her car, I'm hearing stuff that I'm like, what does this mean? So I heard that in her car,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh God, you took me through some things. I'm gonna say that in church.
Right.
It's not until it went viral. And like, Taylor, what does take me through that mean? Like, isn't that sexual or nothing like that, right? And she's like, you shouldn't be saying it in church, Dad. So I was like, well, too late, Dad.
It's over.
She said, give a disclaimer next time. So, yeah, that's kind of what happened with that.
I was just saying, I got it from Uncle Bryant.
Yeah. No, you got to tell them what the Lord took you through.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we do that.
Yo,
I definitely got in. I was in Taylor's car,
mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Oh, this is." I was like, "God, you took me through something." Because I'm gonna put God on everything that I hear, and I have an audience at my church that's urban and
mm-hmm.
just coming to church, and so sometimes those are little connectors that make them interested in the moment of worship.
Yeah.
As weird as it may sound. Yeah.
No, I believe it. I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe that. I think you do. You got to keep it. You got to keep it fun.
You got to keep it fun.
You got to give it to. I feel like the main thing growing up that I've heard from my peers is that church is boring.
Yeah.
Church is boring. Church is boring. I'm like, and to a degree I understand, but I just felt like, I always felt like, bro, if I have the gift or I have a capacity where I can really make church lit, I'm gonna do that. Absolutely. And I want church to be lit for me.
Sure.
So if I can go handle that, or I can do that, or make it that way, I'm going to do that.
Let me tell you what's crazy.
What?
When I first came to your church, I was more prepared for a conservative environment like your dad.
For real?
Yeah, I wasn't ready. But then he was like, when I sat down and the praise was going, I'm like, who's these guys? He's like, that's my son. I'm like, what? You got sons to do that? Like your real sons? I know they're my real sons. I'm like, say less. We go to church then.
What? Wait.
Because your dad was, to me, just so like, I'm going to enjoy Jesus. But I'm not going to do what you do, Brian Martin. I'm not going to.
I mean, my dad, he get up there.
But I had never seen him do it. I've seen him do it recently, but up until now, I had never seen him do it. Interesting. I thought he was like this really conservative guy.
Wow.
Never lift his voice, had mastered church and secular spaces and like kind of figured out the middle. So when I saw you coming in the aisle, I'm like, yo, who is this guy? And he was like, that's my son. I'm like, yo, you got some spirit. No, Brian, that's my real son. I'm like, yo, like from you? Like,
yes.
You made him?
Like, you made him? You did that way to join the church. You had this guy. Yo, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Are you single right now?
I am. Am I single right now? So I am single. Yeah, I don't have anybody. Well, I don't know if I'm single.
You don't know if you're single?
No, because there's a person that I like.
Okay. So how do you navigate dating and being a bishop at the same time? Like, how does that look?
And
not just a regular bishop. You are like a real, like you're Baltimore, like you're up there.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think integrity and character is an element that we've lost in the body of Christ. And it's a way to do everything with diplomacy. I have a 26, 25-year-old daughter. And I did some things earlier on in her life that probably stained her and even made her question my God. And once the Lord healed that, I don't necessarily know if I live for the members as much as I live that my daughter won't have to hang her head in shame to say that's my dad. So I want to put myself in position to do things appropriately. And yeah, I'm being tongue in cheek. I don't believe you're not, unless you're married, you're single.
Right.
So,
okay.
You could be dating a person, but until you're married, you're actually single. And I like, what I like, I don't like churchy women with lap scarves.
I don't either.
Rhinestone hats.
That's what I wanted to get, because it's harder. Because they're not really all churchy.
I'm more attracted to sobriety and quietness and diplomacy and esteem and mechanism. Yeah. Of course, we all have a measure of beauty that you have to have. But at this stage in my life, I'm not marrying
any person who doesn't know who I am in God. Mm-hmm. And then I'm also not going to fumble my family just for the sake of the church. Okay. And I believe in all vulnerability, I did that. And one of my greatest convictions in my life is I became Bryant Martin, but I lost my family. Mm. So who won? And I hear a lot of bishops say that and do so. And I always want to ask, like, is it ever worth it? You can go on the record and say it's like for any up and coming pastors too. Yeah. Was it truly worth? Like, was it worth? Like, do you feel fulfilled? Like, at the end of the day, is it? Oh, I preached here, I've impacted souls, or is it like I'd rather just have my family and never have never probably preached at these churches? Man, let me tell you something. If you never ask a great question again, you just ask one. It's so great I can't answer it. Mm. For fear, I don't know what I would rather have. The itinerary I have, the access I have, or to go home. When I go home, I'm going home to nothing but TV and a nice chair. And tomorrow, Randy will assist me in church for the 3 services, and they take me back home. At 51, I should be coming home to the sound of a family, to the sound of disagreement, to the sound of, I ain't trying to go over Aunt JJ house. I'm staying home. No, you going? The flex, what we don't know is the biggest flex in life is for a man to say, I honored God by taking care of the family that I have. Mm. That you respect your father more by how he treats your mother and your brother versus how he preaches and prophesies on the Sunday. Yeah. Because that's the example. To hell with all that other stuff we do in church, bro. Yeah. Can you say, I can say that the lifestyle my dad lives on that pulpit is what he lives and mirrors in this house. Mm-hmm. That's the flex. Yeah. And any preacher that say it's not, you're goofy. You're goofy. Flat out a goofball. You're goofy. So now the second half of my life, I want to honor my wife with time and vacations and turning down an engagement to make sure she's accommodated. Yeah. I want to honor my daughter. But Taylor doesn't do I don't know if maybe one day I bring Taylor and maybe I put you and Taylor together and y'all question each other because she's unapologetic. Mm-hmm. Taylor, I was there for everything Taylor did. Yeah. But I don't necessarily know if I was absolutely the best I could have been because once that road opened up to me, I was like, what? You want me here this week? You want me here that next week? You want me that week? Mm-hmm. Before you know it, 4 months have gone and your child sees you like 3 or 4 times in the hallway as you go to the airport. That ain't cool. Yeah. When you can say, look, I've been gone for 2 weeks. Now, because I'm not praying about these engagements. I'm just going because it adds up to the bottom line. Right. It economically makes sense to take these engagements because now, I got to take care of y'all. Mm-hmm. You was full time. So I'm full time. So now, so I don't know. I would encourage you to do all you do as you're single. Buy your shoes, buy your watches, flirt with other opportunities to do other things so that when you have your family, you can understand that family is extremely important to God. And I think young preachers and young pastors who don't see it that way could possibly be leading themselves up to a great detriment. So I don't know. That's just okay. That's but good. I'm not saying I'm not single because I'm trying to flirt with nobody. Like I'm not. No. Like I ain't trying. I don't slide no DMs or nothing like that. I'm not doing nothing to that. So you get them. I get more DMs than most men would dream of. Well, okay. What do you feel like? And if you don't want to say it, it's fine, right? But I'm gonna ask you because I just feel like I want to ask you, right? Right. What is like the craziest DM you've gotten? Oh my God. He shook his head about, oh man, yeah. Like what's like the, oh my God, like I just preached and she just said this, or like what was like a crazy DM you got? I got some crazy DMs. I mean, the biggest I can't say all that, but I got some DMs where the suggestion was, well, you must be a punk because what dude wouldn't want this? I've been. You feel me? Mm-hmm. Like you're like, wait a minute,
And now you feel the pressure of, I ain't no punk.
Mm-hmm.
But most people are trying to get you out of character so they can put a conjunction behind your anointed.
Yeah.
Yo is anointed, but.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm telling you, man, I never saw it. Man, the scandal dilutes our witness.
Every time.
I've had my share of mistakes and things I just shouldn't have done. And like you say, things that were not all the way true. People added to the narrative. And it was crazy, yo. It's just crazy. So I've gotten now as you get older, you look at life a little different. Like, man, I'm not impressed with that. I like to be the guy who go after the chick. Like, yo, I like you. Now, man, here's my daughter tells me, and I'm not good at chivalry. Do you know what that is? Like,
yeah.
I'm not really good.
How
you doing, honey? And all like that. I don't know how. I'm real hood in my approach. And some church women who have this image of a first lady, they're not like that. So I got to work on that part of me.
So give me like your average approach. How would you approach? If a girl's sitting right here, what would you say?
Your name is? My name is this. Do you want my number? I want yours.
Do you want my number?
Call me next week. And I see you.
I like that. Okay, I wouldn't have said it like that. Okay. Your name is?
And your name is?
Yo. Okay.
All
right. And it works.
Well,
I believe it works.
He never failed me yet. He never failed me yet.
So okay. And you feel like you have to work on that. Your daughter is challenging you to be a little more.
Yeah, because I don't want my daughter to have an image of marriage based upon the inadequacies of her father.
Okay.
So I sent my daughter, you know how you gonna look on TikTok and you see stuff, and they had this little reel where fathers were crying when they saw their daughters get and their gowns to get remarried. And I'm gonna tell you what's crazy. The older I get, I cry easy. Like Randy will tell you, we could be listening to something in the car and I just start crying because I'm open to what God is doing in my life.
Yeah.
And I know what I want. And one of the greatest desires I want is to see my daughter get married. And I want to cry when she walked down that aisle.
Yeah.
And I want her to tell her husband that my father is a good man. So you gotta step up to that.
Right.
And so we make mistakes, but the only reason why I'm here today and I'm blessed today and I'm still around the world today and I still have a church because I didn't lie. I'm extremely honest about the areas of my life that I didn't do well in. And so I corrected them through worship, through prayer, through forgiveness, and through repentance. And that's up to me not to duplicate it. But I'm anticipating marriage again. Yeah. I'm not talking about getting old married. I'm talking about I still got some juice left. Married.
Right, yeah.
Hey, Randy, I still got some juice. Okay.
All right, so then you mentioned this, and this probably won't be my last question. Okay. And we can shout it out. And
okay.
But what do you feel like was your biggest struggle while becoming a pastor, as far as like you said, like you had struggles that you were honest about? What would have been your biggest hindrance? Like, okay, like this, if I don't kill this part of my flesh, or if I don't get this right, I could lose my whole thing.
Okay, so what you gotta do is I'm gonna tell you my biggest hindrance, and then when we've done this over, I want you to put on your Facebook page, Uncle Bryant told me to tell you all this, and that's it.
Okay.
Popularity before maturity is a drug. I became extremely popular, but I was not mature enough to be able to handle it. And I became a character. Brian Martin, he's a character. And that's not who I am. I'm not you niggas. I'm not take me through there. I'm not you're gonna get pregnant. I'm not that guy. But the character was so popular. And the popularity came with a lucrative context. But I wasn't mature enough to be able to understand, to pray, and to keep myself around sober people and solid people. And so if I could do it over again, yes, I want to be something in the kingdom, but I would rather be powerful than popular.
That's
I would rather be powerful than popular. And so as you mature, you go back and say, what was I thinking? Why did I do that? So I feel like I'm not being faithful to you. So let me just say this and I'm gonna get out of here.
Okay.
To anybody on your chat, this is my nephew whom I love. He's got a tremendous ministry opportunity. And because I love him, I want to say this so he can do what he wants to do with it. I didn't lose my marriage because I didn't have money. I didn't lose my marriage because I didn't love her and I wasn't attracted. I lost my marriage because of infidelity. I cheated. And when she wanted to be restored in the marriage, I didn't want to. And then by the time I wanted to, she didn't want to have anything else to do with me. And that's the problem, because popularity started attracting persons to me who ordinarily would have never been attracted to me.
Right.
I could not be mature enough to balance it. And it hurt my ministry. I lost members. I lost influence. I lost the respect from my daughter that a therapist and homework healed. I had to come to my daughter, not as a bishop, but as a father, and said, Dad did this, I didn't do that, I did, and that. And the healing continues. We're great, you know.
Right.
We're not in any negative spaces. But I think that we keep lying and saying, yo, the devil was busy. No, you cheated.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And it's life. It's life. It's not. It's okay. It's only okay if you own it.
Right. You gotta own it.
You gotta own it. Don't put it off on some mystical thing.
Yeah.
This is what happened.
No, I wasn't where I was supposed to be.
I
was in a situation, and that's what
happened. And so now going forward, I've learned from my mistakes, and I believe God's going to grant me that grace to do it better what I didn't do right the first time. Yeah. I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's good. That's real.
Yeah.
And trust me, I don't, and I know the chat won't. I don't look at you no differently.
I appreciate it.
You still Uncle Bryant. You still Bishop Knight. You still the great Bishop Knight that I know.
Yeah, yeah.
And things happen. I think that people try to paint the picture that way because they just feel as though like, dang, people go. But I think when you study in Man of God, man is first.
Man is first.
And even if you look at David, right? Why is David such a man of God? Why is David considered the man after God's own heart, right?
Yeah.
It's not about necessarily his character or what he's done or the sins he's done. It's about how does David position himself when he knows that he's offended God.
Absolutely.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And I think that's really where it comes down to, you know, being a man of God.
And you got to realize disobedience affects everybody.
Yeah.
It's not you. It affects your children, your spiritual kids who serve you, because the first person they're going to attack are the people who are close to my child, my board of elders, my church, my staff, my adjutants. You serving him. Did you hear this? And now you're putting people who love you in a predicament to fight or to have a disagreement based upon your act of disobedience. So now a lot of interactions suffer because of that. And that's hard to deal with, brother. As a man, you're like, oh my God.
Right.
I can't believe I did that. So I'm better, man. And that's my thing to young guys, man. Listen, just watch what you do, watch where you go, watch what you say. I can't tell you what to do, but I can tell you what not to do.
Right.
And that's what it is. So
yeah,
you'll be all right though.
Yeah, that's dope, man.
Yeah.
All right, well look, let's
Are you single?
This chair. Yeah.
So you're not dating nobody?
No,
there's no woman like that's my boo right now.
No, not now.
Okay, all right.
I'll be honest with you, right?
Okay.
Be honest with me. I'll be honest with you. Right?
Okay.
How I operate is right. Like I do my thing.
I got you.
So like I'm very busy. I do real estate.
I heard.
I'm into streaming, into content.
Gotcha.
And I'm heavily involved in my church, right?
I see that.
So when it comes to that, I don't think I have the time to fully invest in a woman, right?
I respect it.
So, and my dad doesn't necessarily agree with how I move, right?
Okay.
But it's like the girls that I would deal with, it's a lot of it's just on my own time.
Yeah.
So it's like if I want to see her when I can, then I'll see her. But there's no real level of commitment because there's no real space to commit right now. Yeah. So, and because of that, so I just feel like, all right, well, I'll deal with them to my capacity because I'm not gay.
Right.
And I do enjoy the company of a woman. However, my mom says this a lot and I do got to work on it. She always says you enjoy the luxuries of a relationship without the commitment of one. And sometimes I find myself
that might be my problem.
Yeah.
It's a deep statement.
Yeah, she said that you want to do that, and I've accepted it, and
that
that's
comes from a strong mother, prayerful mother.
Yeah, and I've owned it. I've owned it, right? And I'm honest, and I think that I found success in some of it because I've been honest with the women. Right. I would tell them this is where I'm at, and not that I don't enjoy you, and not that I wouldn't even consider you, but right now I can't give you what I know you need. Right. They'll pay that. I can stay there. I'll be right. When it's really time for me to do me, right. You may not be okay. Right. So I'll say.
And you got to respect that.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll say, I'll get. I'm young. But I am looking to settle down soon, like next year.
Let the Lord do it. Yeah, don't rush it.
Yeah, I ain't gonna rush it.
Yeah, don't rush it.
But I'm looking to slow it down.
The only reason why we fall in love is for love. We're not marrying for the church. We're not marrying so we can look good on flyers. Mm-hmm. We're not marrying for the peer pressure or parent pressure.
Right. No.
I got to love this choice.
I do. Yes.
And I want my spiritual sons and daughters to get married, but I do not want them to rush until the dark parts are healed. Yeah. Because they have a way of resurfacing. Yeah. And yeah, it's good.
It's true.
Yeah, it's good.
And I don't want to settle.
No.
And I like what I like. I need it. People say nobody's going to check all the boxes.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna get on my boxes.
Oh, man,
I just do. I believe it. I really
love it, brother. I ain't mad at you.
I'm not saying she gonna be 100%, but like as far as what I want, how I want them to act, look, talk, and be, they can be. I can find that because I've came across it. I'm just not in the space, right? But I've came across women who I would, if I was in the right space, I would.
I got you, my guy. But I love it, brother.
But yeah, that's me being honest.
You got you. I appreciate it, man. We rock it forever.
Yeah. But well, look. Let's do this. Say what you want to say. You got anything you want to say to them before we dance out? I dance every time, but we gonna shout and dance.
Okay, we're gonna do it. I
feel like
let me say this to you. So I have, as tired as I am, I really appreciate you reaching out. Mm-hmm. It was an honor for me to be on your platform. For you to have whatever admiration for me, I never will fumble it. I believe this reach is just significant as the conferences, the convocations, the revivals I preach. Mm-hmm. There is somebody that heard something from me and you today that said, okay, I'm good. Yeah. And I'm impressed with it, man. I think it's excellent the way you've done it. I watched some of your other content. And mind you, I didn't know all that until you reached out. I didn't know. I just said yes on the strength of your dad. And I'm gonna do it, you know. But I appreciate it. And as long as people will be honest on your platform, healing will be the nutrition that'll be offered up. Yeah. And that's why I didn't want to leave with some mysticism of like, what happened? Right. I want them to know because I love you enough to say, and I trust it. Mm-hmm. You know, the Bible says he desires truth within the inward parts. Mm. And I think the church has mastered lying so much till there's no deliverance. Right. I don't believe deliverance is a lie and somebody's hands laid on you. Deliverance is a decision you make to no longer do what you did. Yeah. And so this helps us be better. So man, you keep doing it. Keep buying sneakers. Keep loving your family and keep shouting. And I'm gonna be here. And when you blow up, I'm gonna sit back like, I was on the first one. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's gonna blow up. It's gonna blow up. What happens typically in church space is we wait till someone else famous calls you good. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, that's been my guy forever. Like, no, I tried to get you to do this. You didn't see it. Mm-hmm. So keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, and it's slowly happening now. I'm noticing it. I'm like, certain people coming and like, you ain't want to do a skit until you seen me do this with somebody, or, you know. Yeah. But it's truth. That's the truth. Yeah. I believe it. But let's do this, right? Let me see if you can show me how you get down a little bit. I'm more on my shoulders. So you just stay low. When I get tired. That's a tired dance. That's a tired one. I wish y'all could see this right now. Yo, that's cool. Let me try. Let me see something. Let me see. Hold on. Go ahead. Let me see. You said it's a tired one? There it is. Yo! There it is! I'll get shot. Yeah, you do all that. This is what bread is. That's that mother target. Y'all really guys, y'all put it on like I ain't never seen before. Keep going. No, that's good, man. Y'all let you have you. Like you too, huh? Gotta be good watching. All right. Y'all make sure on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, sub to the Twitch. You gotta do, man. We out. Yeah, Bishop Bryant K. Martin.